this is a quick video that Mahati and I wanted to do to share our book reading club experience. Book reading is an amazing, fun activity, and it gets more fun if you do it in a group or in a club. And we both have been part of this happy book reading club for last 2 years, and we read and talk about books on a weekly basis. Every weekend on Saturday we read a book, or it's basically a book summary that we read, and through mind maps. That's the core theme. So how is it, Mahdi?
Yeah, it's been exciting. I wait for Saturday every week. I think, especially when the motivational genre of books is there, I feel it more interesting, even more than the technical books. I like the choice of books that we do. I like the way it's summarized, and I like the members in the club. Everybody is enthusiastic, everybody asks questions. So it's like a close knit family.
So yeah, I liked an interesting point that you brought, that you like the soft skill or personality genre of books, and I like the testing books more. I also like the personality books, yes, some of them, yes, but
Okay.
testing books are also awesome. And I primarily joined this club to read the testing books. I had never even heard about testing books, and
Okay.
I was in the testing lab workshop where Ajay told me about this club where they read testing books, and I really thought that this could be a nice way to get my testing knowledge a good refresher or something. So
Yeah.
that was
I
the
think I
motivation.
also remember that I joined this book club through you,
Okay.
and yeah,
Okay, so awesome, yeah. So yeah, let's. The plan was to talk about this club. And if we can quickly talk about some of the books that were our
yes,
most favorite. So we both have actually discussed, and we agreed on 5 books, uh, which we both liked equally. So these are really amazing books, and somehow we learned or read these books through this club. So let's talk about the first book, uh, and the first book is the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Pretty interesting book. Any thoughts, Mati? How was it?
yeah. I think this was a perfect start to a new year. I would say this was the first book that we read for 2022, and I can't forget this book for a lot of reasons. The first thing is it has many pieces of wisdom, and I can remember two significant points from this book. The first thing is that if you can't if you're afraid of coding, or if you can't do coding, there are many alternate ways of doing things, like writing a book or recording a podcast, or doing or setting up a blog. And I think that was a very good idea that I could capture from this book. And the second point that I could relate to is the point related to inspiration or motivation, which is short-lived if you don't act upon it, and it's very true. And the third one I could say is the wealth creation part, which is very very true. So each part of this book has some great pieces of advice, and I would advise everybody to read and reread this book. And I also follow his tweets on Twitter. So yeah.
Novelism, right? There is a handle, and I also follow that, and interesting tweets. I really learned about wealth and the importance of investing in our own self, uh, and a lot of concepts through this book. And I particularly, I'm not a very big fan of self-help books, but this is kind of a modern self-help, or awakening book for me. So pretty nice, yes, and lot of interesting concepts, and it enables me, or it enabled me to have a more clear thinking, and to how to stop regrets, or how to avoid regrets, and how society affects us, and uh, the unspoken rules, and it talks about all of that. So yeah, this is a nice book. So let's talk about the second awesome book that we both have referred a lot. So which is 50 plus tips to win testing contests and think about it. That's the tagline. And this is an old book. I mean, this is a pretty old book, and I have talked about this book extensively in with people. And when I go to hackathons, I mean, and anytime I post regarding hackathons, I mean, uh, this is one of the must-read Bible book for hackathons. And the interesting part is, and when I say hackathon, I mean testing hackathon basically, so or testathons or something. And the interesting part is that this is an old book. I mean, it's I think it's a book written 10 years back and still very relevant. I mean, most of the things are relevant. Most of the ideas and concept that how to know your environment, be with the things ready, or I mean, know the base state, uh, and a lot of aspects that are given in this book. I mean, they are really timeless, and it's an amazing book. So, Madhi, you want to talk something about this book?
Yeah, so this book is also one of the books. Of all the books written by Ajay, I think I like this book a lot. Uh, the reason I wanted to read this book was because of its title, which was very catchy, and I've heard from a lot of people also that this book has a lot of relevant facts. So that curiosity has at least made me pick up this book. And this book, I won't say outdated, maybe some tips might be, but I think this gives a great deal of ideas as to how if you really take a, I think support details.net, that was a very simple and sweetest and shortest shortcut, I would say. And how, like, they were very easy to apply principles. So for me, this book is like a go to or a must read for everybody who's preparing for testathons or hackathons or any contest.
Absolutely. And I discussed with Ajay, and like he's working on a part two to this book, which is kind of an extension, but yeah, that might come out in 2022. So I look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a nice book. And next book, which I particularly loved, and that we recently covered in the book reading club, was Secrets of a Buccaneer Scholar. So this is an interesting book on self-education and following the pursuit of passion and how that can lead you to lifetime of success. Book is by a pretty famous software tester, James Bach. So, Madhu, you want to talk about this book,
Yeah,
Secrets of.
actually, I've not read this book in length, but I've read the study notes that was made by you. So that at least made me interested in this book. Some things that I can relate from this book is it appeals to James's personality also, like self learning, the importance of self learning. As we proceed or as we progress in our career, I understand now the emphasis or importance given to self learning and how it's very important skill and something that what schools don't teach us, and how education is beyond school, and how can you be a Buccaneer scholar. I remember my mom telling me in childhood that if you focus on like specific skills or some hobbies, you will be more focused as I mean, you will be a great person in academics also. When I read this book, when I read the summary of this book, and in some points, like James's points collided with the points that my mom told. So I think this is a brilliant book for anybody who thinks that who only thinks that schooling can give you that education and no other things can give you this. This gives a lot of wisdom. If you have the time, you can read the book or go through Rahul's blog. It
Well,
also
I personally would recommend to read the book because of a lot of reasons. I mean, the blog might have a essence of some nice, interesting points,
yeah.
but to me personally, I mean, I always had something in the back of my mind which used to haunt me, that I had prepared for competitive exams, IIT and all, and I couldn't do very really good in that, and I used to feel that can I do good in life, because I mean I couldn't clear some exams. And when I read this book, I mean I realized that nothing can stop you. I mean, if you know the aspects, if you know the importance of education, why you want to educate, and the methods of education. If you can challenge your ideas, and I mean, there are, I mean, a lot of elements that James has covered in this book through stories and through his
Yes.
personal experience that has worked for him, and that really boosted my confidence. And I feel like I am a Buccaneer scholar, or I want to be in those lines. So, uh, really nice book. I mean, for people who are passionate about learning, and uh, who want to really learn and grow themselves. I mean, nothing can stop us. I mean, mostly, or in most of the cases, the thing that stops us is our own limiting beliefs and all. So, I mean, if you approach things strategically, they will work out. So that was a very nice book. I mean, highly recommended and highly rated, and really awesome. So let's move on to the next, and one of the very popular testing book. So this one is really popular and special. Perfect Software and Other Illusions About Testing by Gerald M. Weinberg. I mean, popularly, I mean, our, like we all know him by Jerry Weinberg. So this was eye opener for me. I mean, uh, I mean, this is a very zoomed in view, but this is an old book. I mean, I think it's a 8 to 10 years old book, and when I read this book, I mean, I realized that most of the illusions which Jerry has covered in this book about testing, they are still relevant today, and how testing is, I mean, you can, how you can do testing even without touching a software. uh, that idea I got by reading this book. I mean, how you can even test the idea, or how you can even test the risk, or uh, the specification or requirement. I mean, how you can test creatively, how you can think, and I mean, how people think, and all those possibilities I learned through this. And I mean, what testing is, what it isn't, and why not just test everything. I mean, why testing everything is not possible, or I mean, different interesting topics. I mean, even the fallacies about testing, and I and Apurva covered all these fallacies in, I mean, or some of these fallacies in the common testing mistakes. So so yeah, that's about it. So yeah, Mati, I mean, your thoughts on this book?
Yeah, this is a great book, and if you read this book, you get an essence of most of the situations that you can see in the industry. And the stories, some stories of this book are actually situations that happen in your teams. And of these, and of all the chapter, in each chapter you have, at the end of the chapter you have some common testing mistakes which you can relate to, and which may be relevant in some cases to some situations. And of all the chapters, I think I like chapter 17, which talks about fallacies in software testing. So, and yeah, so there are many other places where I like the book and which made me laugh. And I mean, I could relate to certain instances with my team. So I think this book is a must read for everybody, and you can read this book any n number of times and it feels like you're still reading it for the first time.
Yep. And I want to also share something. I mean, I am not a very big fan of hard copy books. I mean, physical books. I like to read ebooks or mind maps and all digital form. But this is one book which I am planning to buy now. I mean, and I really want to keep it in my bookshelf, because there are a lot of quotes. There are a lot of effective quotes that are available in this book, that are really relevant to the day-to-day work we do. I mean, and I really feel that it's kind of a working like a Bible for me. I mean, for example,
Yes.
I mean, even like this book talks about testing scams, and most of them are even relevant till date. I mean, and the interesting point is that one way to recognize scam is that they always promise something for nothing. And I mean, how much it is relevant, I mean, even for testing and outside it. So uh, I I mean, this book has really taught me about testing as well as about life. I mean, that's something that I want to share, and this is an awesome book. I mean, one of the fantastic books by Jerry. So
Yeah. I think
That's
all books of Jerry's. I think having a paperback edition is worthy rather than the ebook. At least for me,
I'm yeah
I've
I'm
been lucky
thinking to
enough.
do that
Yeah.
investment on myself. Yes,
Yes, I
yes.
think I've been lucky enough that I have soft copies of these books. I mean hard copies of these books.
Okay,
So I really enjoy reading this, and yeah,
awesome. Then I need to come to your home and steal some of those books.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, so I mean yeah, last awesome book that I mean uh, for today's discussion I mean is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Really
yes.
popular book, and I have seen I mean apart from software professionals, I mean this book is really popular in general. I mean I met some of my relatives and they also had read this book and uh, had a great reviews, and they used to tell me about these books I mean before I read it here. So awesome uh, books book Atomic Habits, and this is one of the kind of book that I mean you can reread, or I mean I can really re-go through the entire summary video again and again, because habits are really important I mean in shaping us. And sometimes I mean whenever I lose track or lose the touch, I see, I mean, what are the habits that I'm losing, and what's not in the shape, or what's not going right. And then I try to apply the magic of Atomic Habits. I mean, uh, habits are really easy to form. Good habits you can form through principles, through things that work. And I mean, uh, this is nice. I mean, we all know that we have to do certain good things, but yeah, I mean, to bringing that in practice is the biggest or the toughest challenge, and this books really helps us to solve that. So yeah, Mati, you wanna say something about this?
Yeah, this is a prominent book. I've been postponing and postponing, but I finally read this book much before HBR itself. But yeah, like you said, habits form a great deal, or it plays a very significant role in everybody's life, and they shape our lives also. We ignore the smallest things in our life, but it's those things that really matter. I think not only the book, the newsletter by the same author, James Clear, and his and I've heard some podcasts also of this person. They're really amazing, and so that's the reason after his basically this book. I mean, I thought I just read once, and I thought I could not implement, but at least this book has changed me in such a way that I read some books up out of that thing that I have missed out, but I it's worth the read and it's worth your time. And it after this book I've read every book related to habits, like Tiny Habits, The Power of Habit, and anything that comes with habit. So this is a great book.
Absolutely. I mean, habits, first we make habits and then habits make us.
Yes.
And the interesting part is, I mean, if you want to do something, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. I mean, these small clues are really helping me get acquainted with new habits. I mean, these are really helpful. I mean, making it attractive, making it easy, I mean, making it satisfying, and then you stick on. And I mean, I also like the advanced tactics. I mean, one thing that I really took away from this book is that what is that one thing that feels fun to you, but I mean, work to others. And uh, we all want to do certain specialized skills, but not everything will feel fun to you, but something is definitely going to feel fun to you, which is work for others. And I mean that can be that delta, small area where you can really score high. So
Yes.
that's really advanced tactic on growing in life, and identifying such areas can help. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty much we covered five of our most liked books that we read through this club. So definitely, I mean, till now I think we have read almost 80 to 85 books through this, or I should say, I mean, read the summaries of 80 to 85 books, and read
Yes.
some of the books on for full also. So nice. I mean, yeah. I used to think that book reading is an activity for old people. I don't know why I used to think that, but I have certainly changed my viewpoint towards book reading, and I like to go back and read when I get topics where that needs my attention. For example, I wanted to learn about the Scrum framework in pretty detail, and then I went back to a book on Scrum, which was covered in the book reading club, and then I watched the recording again, and it was a good refresher. So yeah, that's about it. That's all from my side. Mati, you any closing notes?
Yeah, so like I thought I would not be able to read books in the first place because I didn't have this habit for a lot of years, and I was not a voracious book reader, not even a reader. I had this aversion towards books, and I thought I would hardly stick on. But after completing these many sessions, I would just say that I would look forward to reading any kind of book, any genre of book. I mean, people gift me books nowadays on a. I have a huge list that has to be completed also, but yeah, I
So
think this.
are you also gifting books, Mati, to others?
Yeah,